stuff, and then it overflows. So I'd like to put that gutter on new myself and make it a good run. But it sounds like there's more to it than I thought there was to put up a gutter. So anyway, if anyone's put up their own gutters, I want to hear about that tonight. It's 11 minutes after 8 with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it back now to Dave, our net control. Go ahead, Dave.
Good evening again, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, today's day was sort of R&R after all of the election stuff that went on this last week. And believe it or not, I watched a couple of Indiana Jones movies, and I found them rather refreshing from the comedy aspect of that. And then late this afternoon, I've been watching the Boise, Nevada football game, and Boise won that. So that's what's been going on here in Lake City. And temperature-wise, I got 48 degrees outside. So with that, that's what's happening here. This is Dave, KD7CYM. So we can move it up now to Ron, KD7QKU.
On my transmitter. I think you skipped Wade and Carlos, really. So I don't know, you went from you to me. But anyway, I got a preamp and I put on the receiver here, and it was a 20 dB, and it I think it's made a big difference when it rains. Hope it did anyway. So time will tell. But let me turn it back to Ned. I think Wade and Carlos. KD7QKU.
This is KD7CYM. Yes, I am guilty of that. I meant to go to Carlos. 87NT Carlos, it's yours.
Very good. Good evening, everyone. 87NT. I think Ron is still transmitting. Oh, not anymore. Let's see if I can reach the repeater today. It was working fine this afternoon, but before the net, I was having a little bit trouble. Yeah, I don't see my call sign. I will have to figure out after the net what might be the issue. I see power and I see video going out but not working. Anyway, so I'll turn it off. I could see Dave and Ron, so it must be some problem at my end. I did some interesting experiments this afternoon. Wade, thank you so much for having the input of the repeater into Twitch, even though the repeater was off, because it was pretty good to experiment here with different bit rates on the transmission and different resolutions. So that was, and also to check the latency on Twitch. So Twitch seems to have about a 5-second latency, which I think it's much better than what we had on YouTube. So that does seem like a good progress all up. And Ron, I did get a similar LNA to the one that Wade mentioned, which was pretty good. In terms of new goodies, I ordered a different receiver from IDES that I will try, which is quite flexible because according to them it can do both 1.2 and 2.4. It's this board here, also from IDES, and it has multiple antenna inputs. And last but not least, I saw the latest ATV newsletter from Jim. Just a minute. So the latest ATV newsletter from Jim, and the article from Wade, kind of describing how to use the Linux SDR there with the instructions. So it seems like the Washington Amateur TV Society is influencing the rest of the TV societies. So congrats, Wade, on that one. Back to Dave, net control from 87NP. I don't know why my Discord is also hung, although I see myself on my Discord. Back to net control.
NP, glad to have you come into the net. It looked good. I believe Ron's transmitter was on that was blocking your signal. So let's go up to to Wade, W7ATS. Sorry I missed him on the rotation.
Should be coming in here pretty shortly. I just gotta output my video here. Just give me a second. Let's see if this works. Nickel digital keys here. Just give me a second. Well, I should be coming in here in just a few seconds. Oh, there I am. It's about a second or so delayed. So yeah, today I was doing some experimenting. Well, not experimenting, repairing. I was at the Tacoma Radio Club this morning, and did some repair on some DB110 receivers that were having some issues. I had inadvertently broke two of the SMA connectors on two other receivers that I had in my collection, and so I repaired those. One of them is not working very good. I think when I was removing the SMA connector, I might have overheated the board. I used a hot air station because there's 5 solder joints on an SMA connector, 4 grounds and 1 signal, and when I plug it in, it'll turn on, and I can interrupt it by going to menu, but if I don't interrupt it, it just reboots itself over and over, and the board seems to be getting very hot. So I think maybe there is a ground, one of the connections in one of the sub traces, or the sub layers of the board is grounding out on something. So I sent an email to HiDes and told them of my situation, and hopefully they'll be able to repair it, or maybe replace the board for me. I'm also sending back one of my transmitters that they sent me last month or month before, I forget. That's got a really loud fan, and it's whining, and it has some intermittent issues where it doesn't come on if I have HDMI plugged into it when it boots up. So they said they did replace it, no charge. They're going to send me a new unit, and then I'm going to send them another one. Let me break for a second. To comment on a few things, it was nice seeing that Jim Andrews put my little blurb in there that I sent him about how to use the RTL dongle for 1.2 gig on Linux. It's the same little blurb I sent the group, and he just put it in his newsletter. So yeah, that's what I've been doing today. And tomorrow I'll be doing some work at the repeater site. I'm going to bring one of my preamps up there and see if that helps with the receive signal, and also swap out the 5-volt power with a 12-volt power, since I found out the HV110 actually is designed for 12 volts, but the back plate says 5 volts. So it'll work with 5 or 12 volts, but maybe it'll perform better when it's actually getting full current that it's designed for. So stay tuned for the next net. We might have a little better video. All right, well, I'll turn it back to Dave, our net control. This is Wade, W7ITL.
W7ITL, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Let's move up to Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, so let me turn my transmitter on here. I haven't been, transmitting for so many years, I forget to turn it on. And Carlos, I was a little bit slow in turning it off, but then when I turned it off, I saw your picture. It was coming through at my house. After a while, I don't know if something else needed to be turned on or not. Yeah, and I'm using the same little preamp that you showed there. That's the same one I got, real inexpensive. And seems to be helping. Hope it is anyway. One of these days I'll replace the camera, a little better quality camera. Let's see. I got the newsletter, but I haven't read it yet to see the article in there with that Wade has in there. I usually read them. I just seem to be short on time. I'm still kind of the chief cook and bottle washer over here. My wife Joanne is still kind of taking it easy, one arm in a sling and one foot in a plastic boot. So it's kind of the chores are left to me. I was hoping that Richard would be on tonight. I wanted to find out about Pipper's eye, but hopefully the dog's eye is okay. I just don't know. I just don't do anything anymore. I did drive my pickup today. I have a Toyota Tacoma, and I don't drive it every day, so I need to drive it once in a while so the battery doesn't go dead. I have a battery charger to put on it, trickle charger, and I have an extension cord and everything. I guess I'm going to have to do that this winter because I probably won't be driving it all that much. So anyway, that's about it. Nice to see everybody. It was nice to see Dave's picture, nice to see Carlos' picture. Hopefully the others will be transmitting pictures pretty soon. So I guess for now, back to net. Thanks, Dave. KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Moscow.
Well, let's see. I didn't take a lot of notes, but I'm glad, Carlos, you brought up the newsletter, and that Wade also discussed it. I had meant to mention that as well. And there's another little mention of us, and that is how Mario is rebroadcasting our, I shouldn't say broadcasting, retransmitting our signal out over one of his, I believe it's one of his ATSC channels. He's got a heck of an operation going on down there in San Diego, and so it's nice that he's made us a part of it as well. Let's see here. Yeah, Ron, I definitely want to start transmitting myself. It just didn't work out again tonight, but soon. I keep saying that, but I mean it. Soon, I will be going mobile, and we'll get this done. I am going to go up to the repeater tomorrow with Wade and James, and just kind of see what I can do to help out. I also want to do some documentation, take some notes of all the new stuff, and make sure it's well documented, and get that someplace that where we can access it. So yeah, that's probably going to be my big contribution tomorrow, but it'll be nice to get up there and see how it's all working, and hopefully we'll get things working a little better. I know Wade has been looking to get a GPU as well for the computer that's up there, but apparently that hasn't arrived yet. Maybe Wade can speak to that, but that should help a lot with all the video streams going in and out through that little computer, and it doesn't have video that's really set up for that. So we should we should be able to make a big improvement there as well. Okay, that's about all I have tonight. Unfortunately I was doing so many other things here. I haven't taken any notes at all. I did hear, I think Ron mentioned about Richard, and yeah, I was hoping we'd see Richard again tonight too. But it's good to see everybody that did come, and Carlos, as usual, glad to have you with us. And I will send it back. K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'll pause in case anybody wishes to contact the net or check in. Again, note you need a tone of 103.5 to come into this net. So I'll pause. Hearing none, again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go back to Wade, W7ITL.
Well, it's good. Oh, there I am. I am in. So yeah, as Bob had mentioned, James and I will be going up to the repeater site tomorrow to do some maintenance and inventorying. Let's see, other things. Yeah, I've been talking with Mario back and forth, and it sounds like, yeah, he's been retransmitting our signal over his repeater system. Yeah, one of the things that I'm going to be looking into is possibly getting us part of the ATN network. I think that's what a lot of the digital TV clubs are part of. I don't know. We'll have to talk about that maybe at a business meeting to see if that's something as a group we want to do, because it will get our information about our repeater on a website where people can centrally go to and look at repeaters that are available across this country. I think his and Maria's is not on there. I didn't see his, but I did see a few other ATV groups in California that were on that list. Ron, sounds like you're still doing a lot of the chores around the house. You know, that's one of the things that I guess we sign up to when we get married, but we're better for worse, as they say. Hopefully, we both fail at the same time, so we're not having to do everybody else's chores. But you know, yeah, I try to do chores around the house too. I do the dishes, I do some of the cleaning, and I do the yard work sometimes. So yeah, it's the cooking though. I've never been a real great cook, so yeah, if I have to start doing that, I'll be maybe going back to. I used to do the pre-planned meals where you just cut up all the vegetables and meats and using a recipe card. We've used those a few times when my wife has been on work-related trips where she's out a couple months at a time. Luckily, she's been at home for the last couple months. Not months, but years. She got a job here in Washington, but she works remotely still. Yeah, Richard, I'd like to see him. We haven't seen him today. Maybe he'll get on our net Wednesday. I'm sure he has some things going on, so I wish him well if he's not doing too good, if you're listening. All right, well, that's that, I think, for this round. I feel like I was going to tell you guys something else, but, yeah, the GPU. So, yeah, I did order a GPU for the streaming computer. That'll offload some of the processing load from the streams, because the GPU can encode those in hardware and make the stream maybe a little more stable and less frame drops. Because I'm watching the CPU right now, or the frames, we're getting 30 frames a second right now, but when I put more than a couple inputs on the screen, it starts to drop down in the 20s. So hopefully that'll help out. All right, well, that's it for me for this round. This is Wade, W7ITL, back to net.
W7ITL, thanks for that. And time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go to Covington to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, a free treadmill, outstanding, and it even works without needing repair. That's better. That's better than the one that I got. But having said that, I fixed mine. It's been working for a number of years, so they're pretty reliable once they're going. My advice, put it inside your house or inside the garage or something. I find it so convenient to be able to not have to go outside. It doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's snowing. You don't have to worry about, well, you wouldn't have to worry about it on a treadmill outside, but I used to run outside years ago, and animals would chase me, in particular dogs. Seems like people would let their dogs out at 5 a.m., so then I switched it up a little bit, and I began running at 4 a.m., and at 5 a.m., the dogs that don't chase you, you could hear them barking, but at 4 a.m., it is dead quiet. The dogs won't even bark at you. But if you have the treadmill in the house, you can run any time of day or night that you want, and don't have to worry about the weather or critters or anything. Yeah, I try to get it inside somehow. Gutters, I don't have any great words of wisdom on gutters, except I don't know anyone who has said that they really like their gutters. I have thought that the next time I'm going to do something, there's a device on the market. It's rather than a gutter, it's a series of slats, perhaps 3 or 4 different slats, and as the water comes off of your roof, it strikes these slats, and rather than falling directly down to the ground, the slats will diffuse the water to the ground. My thoughts were I would try that, because even more than the gutters becoming clogged, I've had problems with the downspouts getting clogged, and then mine actually go into a French drain. I've had problems with the French drain getting clogged, and a couple of them are under concrete, so not exactly like I could clean them out. But you might at least want to investigate that. Look on some of the websites, I don't know, Lowe's or Home Depot or something. At least see what I'm talking about, and see if you get a feel if you might be interested in those or not. Ron, got a preamp? That sounds great. Carlos, thanks for mentioning less latency on Twitch and receive converter that works on 2.4 as well. Don't know what we're going to do here in the future, but always good to have added knowledge. Wade, sounds like you have been incredibly busy, and thank you for that. As far as going to the repeater and swapping the power supply, boy, I don't know. Wade, when you were at my house, I could not imagine getting a better picture than what we saw. So maybe it would help some of the others, I don't know, but I was truly impressed. And honestly, I would say shocked. But thanks for that. So everyone going to the repeater tomorrow, Wade, Jim, and Bob, thank you for doing that, and be careful out there. Ron, yeah, Joanne's arm in sling, foot in a boot. Well, yeah, I know she's making progress. It's just not pleasant for a while. Hang in there. And Bob, going mobile. We know your heart's in it. You'll get there. Hang on. You'll get there. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
7QO, thanks with that. Let's go to Treadmill James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. WU7N here in Northeast Bellevue. Well, Ron, I wish the best of healing to Joanne there. It sounds like she's still looking like an insurance commercial. She's got something on her foot and her arm in a sling. But that is something that Wade mentioned. You should look into that too. I got a subscription to a meal kit as a gift, and I liked it. Also, I got some meal kits when a friend was out of town. He just said, just come over and take them off the porch, because he forgot to cancel his subscription or suspend it when he was out of town, so I got to eat those too. And they're real fast, and it's something completely different other than what I would make. And it had just the right amount of stuff to make it an individual meal, which is kind of nice. Like, it just had one leek instead of buying a whole bunch of leeks and then trying to figure out how to cook leeks for the next week. You had just what you needed for that meal. So I thought they were really nice. But I have to be honest and say I didn't really start one up after all that, because I solved a health problem. Good news. Bad news, now I have to, like all the other fat old men, I have to worry about getting fat now, so I'm not eating quite as much to try and lose 10 pounds. Goes to you, Ron. If your pickup truck still runs, keep it running. Mine, first off, had a problem where the battery wouldn't charge, so I had to manually charge the battery, and the entire engine, all the spark firing, the computer, everything was just running off the battery. Finally, after only like, I think it was 12, 13 years or something, the battery finally gave out. They just don't make them like they used to. And I haven't gotten a new battery because I can't decide whether I'm going to try and refurbish the truck or just give it up. Because the latest I've heard is there might be an incandescent light bulb hiding somewhere in the dash that if it burns out, the battery doesn't charge anymore. Most of the truck, it's a 1987 Nissan. It's really well designed, but if that's true, man, that is a design flaw. Anyway, I'll have to decide what to do. It would be nice to get it running again. And Bob, I look forward to seeing the documentation and helping out with that. That's something we really need to do, write it all down. And, chores around the house. When you live all by yourself, you either do them or it just gets progressively worse. Dave's nodding his head. I cleaned out the sink today because it had so much various alien life forms growing in it that it was starting to talk to me in the morning, so I decided it needed some hydrogen peroxide and some wipes on there. That's one advantage of having a team and family, is you can at least split them up. It's good if you're going to run through the neighborhood at 4 a.m. to smear ketchup all over your face and hands, and just see, and then make sure you run past everyone's video cameras, and see if you make what I call the ring circuit. Someone gave me a ring camera, so I joined the ring site, but the camera didn't work, and I've got some other video plans around here at the house. But I'm getting notifications of people will look at what their cameras took last night. And the funniest one I saw today was wolf walking down the street in the middle of the day. I think it was a small juvenile coyote. But I guess if people haven't lived in eastern Washington, they don't know the difference between a wolf and a coyote. I thought that was amusing. But you should, try putting on weird masks and running up and down the street and all that stuff. See if you can make the ring circuit. gutter guards, thank you very much for that thought. We have these pine needles and itty-bitty tiny pine cones, and they have been known to clog almost any gutter guard known to mankind. I think when we have achieved gutter guards that can keep the stuff that falls off my trees out of the gutters, we'll probably have nuclear fusion down too by that time. Although there is a neighbor that's now testing one he's sure is going to work. I've heard this so many times over the last 3 decades I've owned this building, that somehow they have a gutter guard that works now. But ultimately, it's just a big gooey mess. I go up myself with a ladder, and I can get almost all my front, except one little space where I have to get up on the roof. And usually when I do this is when I notice it's overflowing. So there's a little space that doesn't get done because I don't wish to die. I try to do it just from the ladder, and oh my goodness, by the time I'm done, it's just like everything has to go in get hosed off and then washed in the washing machine. It's such a messy mess. And yes, I agree with you. Treadmills should go inside of the house. That's the whole point of this one, is to be able to get some cardiovascular exercise if I'm just sealed in because of the weather. I'm hoping it'll work, and I'm hoping that it'll be rugged enough. I used to use a reverse escalator at a Boeing gym I worked at 2 decades ago, and I would always lay down newspapers. You get these corporate newspapers. I would always pick up a stack and open them up and lay them out on top of that to catch all my perspiration, and the staff was so grateful because I would clean up my own mess. But that was the most intense treadmill I've ever used. And they had other industrial strength treadmills that are more like reverse conveyor belts that you would run on. And it always amazed me that they could build those things tough enough to handle all these overweight people bouncing up and down on them. I don't think this one can do that. This one it says it's for residential or home use or something. And I think the Reebok came out with a beefed up version with a stronger, more horsepower motor. But we'll see how long this one lasts. For the price, I couldn't beat it. This round, looks like we're fast coming up on 15 minutes to the top of the hour. This is James, WW7N. Let's turn back to Dave, our net control.
WW7N, thanks for that. Another time for an ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. This is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. It's been kind of interesting listening what's been going on, and I want to thank the group that's going up to the repeater to work on that. And, it's always great that we have people within our own group that can service that information. They're technically take care of the equipment that's up there. So my thanks to all of those that are going up there to do that. And I'd like to talk to Ron from the standpoint of fixing meals at home. I do it all the time, but I'd say probably about 60% of it comes from going to Costco, getting their prepared meals, and all you have to do is heat them up and eat them. So that's pretty good. And some of the meals even are frozen, so you just stick them in an oven, and 20 minutes later they're ready to go. So I've enjoyed that. My latest has been their chili. It's just dynamite. It's probably about 85% hamburger, and the rest is just a few beans. But very delicious chili that they put out. I recommend that. And my best wishes to Joanne. Thoughts and prayers that she'll heal rather rapidly with that. And my thoughts also for Richard. I'm sorry that he missed the net this evening, but I'm sure he'll be back with us soon. So that's about it. This is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. So with that, let's move on to 87NP Carlos.
All right. 87NP here. Seems like I can see my call sign there on the repeater. And it's confused between the different images to show. Let's see if it stabilizes. So lots of great information. I love that there's a treadmill with a magic reset button. It seems like that's a product, a feature that should be in many products. Like my transmitter right now seems to be needing a magic reset button for some reason. The fact that you mentioned the noise fan that reminds me that mine definitely is getting a lot of noise fan also. And I was looking today on eBay and I ordered some additional fans of the same size to eventually try to replace it because I'm suffering from the same. Hopefully Jim won't see this 5 a.m. chasing animals, but I like the idea of seeing that on the ring cam. I have the same. I have about multiple ring cameras, and when I set it up for the first time, I would see videos from a large neighborhood, and so I decided that I needed to reduce the scope to much smaller to just see folks that were nearby. But still too many news there. Good luck on the battery and the recovering of a Nissan. I had a Nissan from 1992 that I had to kind of get rid of because I guess it gets to a point they're just not necessarily safe to drive. And so I think the person that came to pick it up and says, what's wrong with it? And I don't think there's anything wrong, but the authorities say it's no longer safe to drive because it's too old of a car. Can you see a minute? And so I did get rid of it. To Wade and Bob, thank you for going to the repeater. I'll be around, and hopefully we'll be able to get all the additional details. And oh, I see something. I think the repeater is finally picking up on the image. But I guess this works better during the day than with the rain at night. Gotta work on this antenna. So probably where you guys go at the repeater, I got one of those directive antennas that for 1.2, so I'm gonna give that a try and replace the comment that I have now. See if I get better. And I'll keep working on making sure that whatever image I'm getting out will get to the repeater. I think this will be the last one for tonight on my side. Thank you again. I'll be doing a little bit of more traveling. I'll have to be in Chicago for a conference, and I'll have to skip some of our events, and I'll bring you news from Chicago. I'm sure there will be no wind. Back to you, Dave. Net control from WW7ATS.
7NP, thanks for joining the net, and happy trails for your travels, and wishing you well with that. Let's go up to Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma Land.
WW7QKU. I did turn my transmitter on. See what happens here. Gee, I wish I'd have known that you guys wanted a treadmill, because when we moved out of Bellevue, we either threw away or gave away. I think it probably went to Goodwill, 2 or 3 pieces of exercise equipment. One was a nice treadmill, real nice. We used to have it in our master bedroom. You could see the TV set that was in there, so when you were on the treadmill, you didn't get so bored. But we just didn't have room for all that stuff over here. Barely have room for my amateur television and ham reels with the few that I have left. I had a much better situation in Bellevue. But anyway, you were mentioning those meal kits. When we had our 50th wedding anniversary, Joanne's family gave us those meal kits, and gee, when Christmas we had them for a couple of months. They were wonderful. You know, they'd show up on your doorstep, and Joanne would bring them in and open them up, and it'd be full of goodies, and follow the recipe, and we ate things that we thought we would never eat, but turned out to be pretty good. And then we found out towards the end that they said we could order. So then we, Joanne went online and looked at the pictures or the website or whatever it was, and then you could kind of choose your meals. So we did that for a little while. I don't know what they cost. I don't remember, but they provided them for us for quite a while. It was really, really, really a nice present. All right, you guys, that's about it over here in Tacoma. I don't know how hard it's raining. I don't even know if it's raining outside. But anyway, you guys have fun up at the repeater tomorrow, and don't work too hard. And Carlos, enjoy your trip. It sounds like it might be a work trip, but I'm sure you can squeeze in some enjoyment. So anyway, have a good time. Nice to see everybody. So 73's KD7QKU. Back to Dave.
QKU, Ron, thanks with that. Up next is Bob, K9PQ.
Hey, well, let's see. I did make notes this time. Chores. Yeah, when you're living by yourself, you know, it's all you. So you do them or you don't, and you suffer the consequences. No matter how hard I've tried, I can't get Sparky to help with the chores at all. She's too much of a prima donna. What else do I have here? Yeah, Jim, the feeling you were mentioning about being shocked at the picture, that was my first reaction too when I first saw a picture come up. It was just like perfect. You know, I just was, you know, we're so used to with the analog having to have compromises and snow and this and that and stuff going on, and to see that just pop in there like that is quite special. What else do I have? Gutters. So I have a tip for gutter cleaning. I have never found a tool that works as well as the hand for cleaning out gutters. I don't know about you guys. I've tried many. I've never found one. And so my tip is, I came across this sort of out of necessity because I didn't have anything better, but it works really, really well. You get just leather, like gardening gloves, the heavy leather kind of work gloves like you get at Costco. And then you take the, what is it, not rubber gloves, is it neoprene, whatever the material they make the gloves out of, and you stretch, you know, you put on the leather gloves, and then you stretch the neoprene gloves over the top of it, and it keeps the leather gloves dry, and the leather protects your hands from any nasty things that might be in the gutter, and it worked really, really well. I got a little tear here and there, but you know, so you got one little tiny spot of your glove that gets wet instead of the entire glove getting soaked through. So I recommend that as if you're like me and you think, you know, doing it by hand is the only way that really works well, that's a good way to do it. It took me a while, James, when you said you were bringing the treadmill up on your two-wheeler, and I thought, what, a motorcycle? I mean, what exactly are you using here? clear out the space all around my stationary bike and start using that again. I've been very careful not to hang anything on it or pile anything on it, but it's very hard to walk around the side of it and to get to it, so it's not ideal. So that's still on my to-do list, but yeah, I got to get the exercise going. Let's see, I think that's pretty well it for now. Just good for you, Ron, with the chores. I can imagine that's a tough thing to have to manage, and good for stepping up and doing that, and I wish Joanne all the best getting better. Okay, back to Ned Kane, I beat you.
PQ, thanks for that. And let's go to Wade, W7ATS.
Well, I got this I was going to show you. This is the High-Des HV110. This is the thing that I was working on today at the Radio Club in Tacoma. As you can see that brass connector there, it has 5, see if I can show you. It has 5 solder joints, and I had to pull that out. It's really hard to pull that out because it's made out of brass that conducts heat pretty good. So I used a heat gun to pull it apart. Right now, it's not receiving the signal right now. It's probably because it has a little switch right here where my finger is. It seems to also be a little defective because sometimes it'll receive signals and then sometimes it won't. And if I switch it over and over, I put deoxide on it, it'll start working again. So yeah, that's the High-Des HV110 without its box. The High-Des HV110 looks with the box. So this one's no longer working. It's the one that I also had to replace that SMA connector on. But the board's heating up really getting really hot, so there's probably a short in there. It will bring up the OSD menu, but it just constantly reboots if it's not in menu. So High-Des said, well, they haven't said that they're going to look at it yet, but I'm going to try to send it with my HV320 that I'm going to send back to them, since it seems to have, he thinks, what is his name? Calvin is the guy I usually work with, High-Des, and he thinks it might be memory or maybe some power thing going on in the board. So right now I'm just using the one that I have on loan from, see if I can see it. I can't show it right now. But yeah, I think we're getting close to the end of that. I'll save my 73s. And Carlos, good luck on your work trip, and good conversation tonight. And yeah, I'll agree. I think it was it Jim that was talking about using your hands for cleaning gutters? That does work the best, I think. All right. Well, that said, that is the end of my transmission here for tonight, and I say 73s again, and you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you guys again on Wednesday. This is W7ITL, back to net.
ITL, thanks for that, Wade. And it's time to close up the net. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions during our nets for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7CYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening, all.